Louie's a beast.
Oh, man.
Beaten
The
down.
good stuff for sure. Welcome into You and Yours. Mom, your dad, everybody else. I'm Louie Rabaut. He's Barry Spears. This is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour platform. Again, hanging out with our friends at Amwager, amwager.com. Of course, they've got the 100% deposit match right now, up to $150. Great time ahead of the Breeders' Cup to get in on that. Of course, we'll have our Breeders' Cup seminar right here in Louisville, Kentucky on Tuesday the 28th. If you can make it out to Martini Italian Bistro, you can meet a man named Barry Spears on his birthday. How about that?
Hey.
Of all things, come on out and see us, martinilouisville.com, to get their phone number and call over there. Reserve your spot, $30 to come attend that with us, but you do get dinner at a very, very fine place. Barry, look forward to the trip, man. We're getting close.
Oh, man, I'm so ready. I wish it was tomorrow.
From SoCal Saturdays to actually freaking going to SoCal. There you go. So Barry and I will be out of Breeders' Cup as well. You'll see Barry and me both on the Blood Horse streams for social media that week. And so be looking for that. Our friend Sean Collins. I had Byron King on this morning. He'll be jumping on with us. You'll see Matt Ditterman, Carlos Morales, all our friends out there for sure. Should be a set of very fun shows. Okay, this card, let's get all of this out of the way.
Okay.
Like 3 of these races just significantly angered me. Like, I didn't quite know what to do. I'm like, how did these 7 horses end up together? That kind of thing. But Barry, I will say, of the stakes that I've looked at this year, this lure is as difficult a stakes as I've looked at.
Yeah, I mean, that distance of a mile and, all the horses that are out there that can go turf or dirt makes
Right.
that kind of event wide open for a lot of horses to enter, a lot of horses doing different things. So it makes for a difficult race all the way around.
Yeah, and they run different distances. You've got some, shortening up, frankly, from a 1.3 miles. You got some coming out of sprints. It should be a fun one. We'll talk about that later. It is the feature in race 9, but we'll open, of course, with race 1. If you are new to the show, this is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Network, Amwager and amwager.com. We encourage them to go check out our friends. At some point today, you will hear about Barry's boring play of the day, and you will also, unfortunately, you will travel inside the mind of Spears. Just suffer through it with us. You really don't. For sure, you don't want it, but it's an inevitability on this show. Barry, where'd you land in race 1?
I went to the number 3 horse, Prince of Del Mar. I just thought this horse had a little bit of a pace edge. Not much speed in this race. This horse looks to be the speed of the speed, and I think they could probably hold off this group. They're not too tough.
So Prince of Del Mar, last seen on the turf there at Del Mar, twice over the mile, very close, second by a neck and third by a length and a length and 3/4. Excuse me. Armando's off this weekend. Do you like the move to David Cohen there?
Yeah. No, he's definitely able and capable of getting the job done. He's been getting some live mounts lately too, so hopefully he can capitalize and get us a win in the first race here.
Your your second selection is my top selection in here in race 1. Call me sir, and not because I like the name, but rather because I think Mark Glatt is doing the right thing with this horse. Got back to the turf last time. This one did break its maiden going a mile on the turf at Santa Anita just in October of last year. First race this year was just the 31st of August at Del Mar. It wasn't a 40 claimer, but that was, and it was, a minute 37 at Del Mar, not the fastest mile ever. But frankly, I think if this horse with some fitness can get that in a little bit tighter, maybe a 136 and change, something like that, can definitely pick up the pieces here. I know that's a horse you also have in your handicapping. A similar kind of feel about him?
Yeah. The horse came back running last time on the turf. Sure. And was a little bit better, at least buyer-wise, than he was when he came off the layoff. So that is a particular angle that I like to use a lot. Usually those horses have another step up, especially when they're younger, 2 and 3-year-olds, and they do this. Call Me Cert fits that bill completely. Should get a good trip here. Rispoli does well when him and Glatt hook up. And Glatt does well off of these kind of layoffs. So they should be all set. The only thing I don't like is that the horse was coming out of state bred company into open company.
Right.
And this is definitely a tougher event than the last race this horse was in, but I still think this horse is formidable.
You also have the 5 in your handicap and coming in a little hot.
Yeah, the 5 horse is a real kind of enigma sort. They've been running in really good races and just not been winning. I know the horse was down on the inside last time, had every chance to win and didn't. I'm not really sure what this horse's hang up is. They put the blinkers on, and the horse actually ran better, but ran behind Tariff twice. Maybe getting away from that one would give this one a shot.
Yeah, I went to the 6th in the second spot here in race 1. This is SoCal Saturdays. Louie, Barry Spears hanging out with you. Blame the Good Times is Hector Barrios' mount in this one was 5th, but by 3 1/4 lengths last time at a mile and a 16th. I wonder if a little less distance here won't be better. We saw this horse over a mile against non-two lifers in a $50,000 starter allowance. Two back handle it really well. Went to Ruben Silvera last time. I really like the move here, Barry, to Hector Barrios. And so I went 2-6-1 and here, Barry, of course, 3-2 and 5 in race 1 at Santa Anita on Saturday. This is SoCal Saturdays presented by Amwager and Amwager.com. We move on to race 2, which is a state bred maiden special weight for fillies. They are 3, 4, and 5 years old. They're going 6 furlongs on the dirt, $60,000 on the line. In our show, I go first in the even races here. So I landed on the rail horse, a first timer in Green Zone. Kazushi Kimura is going to ride for Dean Peterson, who's won 3 of his last 15, going with first time starters. And he is hitting at a quarter win percentage in his last 89 dirt races. This is what he does exceptionally well. Horse has been working okay and has been working at Santa Anita the last couple of times. I looked 3 back to that work. September 29th looked really good coming out of that one. Barry, I think a large part of this is I just don't like any of the horses that have had experience, and so maybe I'm just picking the one that offends me the least. But I'll land on the inside horse, the one here, who I know you have in your handicapping later on. But your boring play of the day is here with 3 Timekeeper's Charm.
Yeah, normally I would gravitate away from horses like Timekeeper's Charm, but there's not much to go on as far as experience, and uh, I'm not really sure what these first time starters are going to do. I know the one Green Zone looks okay, but they're pinned on the rails, not always the best place to be.
Yep.
And this horse was definitely the best of the horses that have run, and I think that experience might make all the difference and put this one just a bit ahead of everybody else.
Barry 3-7-1 in here. I landed 1-5-3. Talk about the 5 horse here in Sexy Blue. It's what they call me when I talk about the University of Kentucky on my radio show. Comes out of a second place finish in a maiden last time at Los Al. Almost got there at the 5.5 distance. And the only thing I really worry about is actually going to 6. I think it might be a little bit too long, but I'm hopeful. Again, another switch to Hector Barrios. Maybe I just need to bet Hector Barrios on Saturday. Switch to Hector Barrios here from Giovanni Franco and from the Bug Boy before that. I do wonder if we're just going to get a slightly better ride. This is a horse that's finished second 3 times. It's been within, has been in the trifecta 4 times. Is there eventually going to be a breakthrough here? Because I thought the horse ran a lot better last time, Barry, than it has before. And so maybe we could build on that one last out. Not a great work last time, but frankly, before this horse ran on September 21st at Los Al, not a lot of recorded works, not a lot of things to go on as far as information. This is one that just shows up in the gate and is ready to go. Maybe Angel Vega isn't telling people to clock these horses. And he's also 0 for 21 this year. So hopefully for Angel Vega, my pick of 5 in the second spot here will work out. Barry, what about the 7 horse, here in this one in Bebop Lady, another first timer?
Yeah, I'm, nothing to get super excited about, but Urton's got seems like he has a bunch of good horses in his barn, whether they're on the West Coast or over
right now,
in
Kentucky,
Kentucky, at Keeneland, and he doesn't have a string at Horseshoe Indianapolis, but he's spreading them out, and he's actually placing them in good spots, and I think this is a good spot for a horse like Bebop Lady. Again, there's not much in here, and it wouldn't surprise me if this horse ends up being able to run first time out. I know Urton's numbers aren't that great. He's capable of winning first time out. But this race is just an enigma in and of itself. So I kind of chalked out here.
I think she also has the fastest gate work of anybody in the group. So for you, I know that matters a lot, frankly, especially maiden works. And so that if you wanted to go on that kind of thing, that Daughter of Union Rags makes, frankly, a lot of sense. Race 3 is a $25,000 claimer. We're going 6 furlongs on the turf here. Fillies and mares 3 and up. No other requirements to be in this one. Very rare occasion. You and I landed on the same trifecta 4-1-6. What say you about Shangri-Lama? Besides the fact that that's a fantastic name.
Yeah, that's an incredible name. But it reminds me of the Disney movie. What's it called? Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, okay. How about that?
The llama. See, yeah. I have kids, so it's
Uh,
I watch the dumbest
I
stuff
I
all
am
the time.
also in a next to a home filled with children. But yes, Emperor's New Groove is not one. I would have to ask my kids if they've even seen it. I don't know if that's even been on our. Now I'll say this: my wife is she wants to show them all the vintage movies that we grew up with, and then she
Ah,
forgets in the 80s and 90s, like PG meant something different. Like
yeah, no, totally,
it was
because
pre Super Bowl, right?
that movie had a lot of adult jokes in it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But 4-1-6 here, Barry, in the 25 claimer in Shangri Lama. Obviously, Kazushi keeps them out here. Do you think get back to the turf is a good angle here? Because I actually think
Yeah,
it
I
considerably.
think yeah, I think the turf is where this horse wants to be.
Yep.
And not only that, there's not much speed in this race. And I think this horse, if they get aggressive, which Kimura tends to do,
Yes.
I think this horse might be on the lead, and that might make all the difference because there's really a lack of speed here. I would gather the one might muster up some courage and try to get involved early, but I don't think they're as fast as Shangri-Lama.
Yeah, I'll talk about the 6 horse here because you and I, like I said, landed on the same 3 horses. Tam's Little Angel here. Shout out to Tim Tam. That was an awesome post the other day.
Oh yeah.
Put out there. That was fantastic. Shout out and RIP to Tim Tam Tavern here in Louisville, where I went and bought a round for like $30 or something when the Tigers last made the World Series. So there you go. But Mirko DeBurro gets the
When
mount
was
here for,
that, by the way? What
oh,
year was that?
no, 12, I think. Oh, God.
Cabrera was there?
Yeah. 12? Might have
Hmm,
been 12. 12.
damn,
Anyways.
it's a long
Yeah,
time.
it's been a
Long
minute,
time.
y'all. But was second last out behind Shangri Lama at Del Mar, gets back to Santa Anita where the horse has won 3 times, right? 6-year-old mare here. But I just think the form has been pretty good lately, frankly. And staying on the turf here, I think makes a lot of sense. They even tried her in the Irish O'Brien down the hill. She didn't love that, but before that, did win at 6.5 down the hill. I think this is one that's capable. And so Tam's Little Angel, I'm sure you saw many of the same things that I did in that race. We move on to race 4. It is a $10,000 claimer. Good luck with this one, y'all. It is a race for non-2 lifers, fillies and mares 3 and up. But Barry, I say that, but you and I are also very appreciative that they are running more races like this at Santa Anita because frankly, it fills the starting gate. I'll take 9-horse fields all the time. And these are difficult to handicap. So there's some opportunity to make some money. In race 4, you and I are only the same on 2 of our top horses. Oh, darn.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So I went 7-5. You went 5-7. I'll go with Little Boom Boom on top. That's what they used to call me in 3rd grade. Kazushi
Hey-o.
riding for Stephen Miotti. It's not what they called me.
Oh.
But this is one, if we go back to the Santa Anita Maiden 50, this horse performed really, really well in that race, and I'm hopeful that we'll get back to that kind of level. We go back to Kazushi, and you mentioned being aggressive. This horse is one that if you see it, it's loomed, it's saved ground, it's this. Guess what that didn't do? Lead to good results. And so I think Kazushi will get way more aggressive on this one. I think the move to him is not an accident for the Miotti folks. And so I'm looking at a little boom boom here. So I'll go 7, 5, and 2 here. You at 5, 7, and 8. I'll let you talk about Lena Lingard.
Yeah, Lena Lingard has speed, and I can't say that for a lot of horses in this race, fortunately. Um, these kind of races are usually kind of chaotic. And I think that's reflected in us, kind of going different directions. But these
I was joking. We went
inconsistent,
the exact same spot. Don't worry.
exactly. But typically they like to be chaotic.
Yes.
I'm not sure about this one too much, although there are some horses that show speed. I need David Musad to really get on the engine and put this horse in the game, or else we won't have a shot. That being said, your horse Little Boom Boom definitely has a chance to close as well as the 8.
Yep.
I think they're the best of the rest, and should be. I mean, they're probably going to be bet as much. I kind of wanted to go away from that because of the fact that these races get a little weird. So Lena Lingard at 9-2 makes a lot of sense here for me.
Yeah, I'll talk about the 2-horse in here. This is race 4, on Saturday at Santa Anita. Mia Mack is in for the tag here. Herrera gets the mount. This one did win at Del Mar going 5.5 in a restricted maiden special, running for 27,000. Tried winners last time in 12-5 company non-2s and finished ahead of Little Boom Boom, who I have on top here. So why can't Mia Mack turn it around and be competitive again? I think she can. Give me 12-1 on this horse out of the Marsha Storts barn. And look, I know they don't win a lot out of Stort's Barn, but 6 of her last 9 victories have been with Herrera. And so who knows? Maybe this is the one. Listen, when you talk Jersey Town daughters, you think of Mia Mack. You understand me when you
You gotta. I mean, not
literally where you have
for,
to.
just for what it's worth. That horse handled winners fairly easy. I know the buyer number doesn't look all that great,
Sure.
but these horses, they can go up and down. So Mia Mack at 12-1 is definitely a good horse to throw in.
I wanted to give a shout to the 4 in here, Westside Okie. What do you make of Emerald Downs transferring down here?
Um, Depending on who's doing it, they probably would fit. I think that horse has a shot. I just personally think the 5 is slightly faster,
Okay.
but I can definitely see Westside Okie making an impact on this race.
All right. We're going to ask my daughter if she's ever seen,
Uh-oh.
have you ever
Hey.
seen Emperor's New Groove?
No.
No. Would you like to watch
Oh.
the movie Emperor's New Groove? It's Disney.
Has a llama.
Has llamas in it. Do you like llamas?
I
You don't
don't
know? That's a fair. You know what? You're in 3rd grade. That's a good answer. All right, go on. Then get out of here. All right. All right, there you go. A little child appearance here on SoCal Saturdays. Barry Spears, Louie Rabaut hanging out with you. Letting Barry down by the fact that we have not had any time watching that movie together. We move on to race 5. Of course, the end of the early pick 5. It starts the pick 6 there at Santa Anita. And if you're betting the pick 6, go check out our friends at Amwager. Amwager.com. Use their promo, or you don't need a promo code. What am I saying? Use their sign up bonus right now. 100% deposit match up to $150 for new customers live in California, ready for Breeders' Cup. Get in with our friends at Amwager and Amwager.com. Maiden special again in race 5 here. 2-year-old fillies running for 60,000, going a mile on the turf, Barry. This was a fun one. We have horses with experience. We have a couple of first timers. I like a horse that's not the favorite here. Where'd you end up playing him? And I don't know if that's me or if that's Barry. So I'll go first here in race 5 on the card here. I went 4, 5, and 2. Nancy 2.0 will be on top for me. Second timer out of the Richard Baltus barn. Seems to be when his maidens start to find their real stride here. Antonio Fresu gets the mount. 9-2 on the line. I love that number. Like Barry said, you're going to look at those buyer speed figures, be unimpressed with the initial run, but this was a race run very slowly. This is a horse trying to make up ground at the end, ran into traffic. I think on debut, the fact that the horse gained position at the end, was in 10th out of 10th for much of the race, dead last, moved up into 4th. I love that about this horse. Antonio Fraser is not going to let her get that much further back than she was last time. I doubt she'll be running 8th out of 8 in this group at any point. And if he can keep her closer, I think she's got a real shot to move in there. So Barry, race 5, I landed on the 4 on top here. I know you landed on the 7 here in 80s.
Yeah, this race, I actually like this race quite a bit. I think this has some potential to be one where you can make a score on, because I wasn't too enthused with the chalk here in Drewliner. That horse seems to be a closer, doesn't break all that well. The 3 races that this horse has didn't really break spectacularly. It actually broke last twice. And that's very interesting in this kind of race. I know they're going a mile on the turf, but it's going to be hard to close from like dead last or close to last, I think, in this race, because there's some horses with some giddy up. I gravitated and picked the 780s. I think this horse really ran a much improved race last time, going long on the turf. The pedigree suggests that going long on the turf is probably what this horse wants to do. Not to mention the fact that this horse was wide the last 2 trips, especially the last time, was fairly wide on all the turns, and still kind of finished up. Didn't quite get ahead of Drewliner, but with a better trip, I think this horse gets there. So we're going to go with 80s on top to the hoop. But
little hoop talk.
yeah, we get some hoop in there. Yeah, we're about to get hoop started.
Oh, no, we
So
close. Yeah, no, you're right.
March Madness coming up, and then NBA next week. So yeah, I'm on it. But yeah, we're going with 80s.
God, I need Christmas first and some Breeders' Cup, little Halloween, little Thanksgiving. You're skipping to March? What are we doing here? New Year's kiss with the lady? What are you doing to me, man? Come on now. 7, 6, and 5 for Barry. I went 4, 5, and 2. Very different on top there with that. I think Drew Liner is the second here. I think that horse should get a better ride under Juan Hernandez as well. So I might
You
go.
would think.
This would be my skinnier leg here, I think, in the early pick 5. I would go 4-5 and kind of just hold my nose and hope that holds up in this one. The 2 horse in here, I put third of my handicap. Oh, Cecilia Street. That's right. Mirko Navarro gets the mount here. This is one going from 2 sprints to a route, but going from dirt to turf as well. And Leonard Powell moved this horse from working on the dirt to working on the synthetic, Barry. And I wonder if he just found out, okay, this horse is considerably better on the synthetic, because she is. And I wonder if just taking the blinkers off, putting her on the other surface, he's like, hey, just be in the race and then we'll figure it out at the end. And I agree with him. I think that's exactly what they need to try to do. This is a daughter of Stanford, and that's at the Malibu Moon line. And I think distance is going to do her well. And so I think Cecilia Street is an interesting one to watch here. Switching to the turf should be an interesting one to watch moving forward as well.
You are a better man than I, because I do not like that horse. I tried to get that horse in it. But I just, there was just too many question marks. Powell doesn't do that well first time turf, but you're going to get your price. So that's the equalizer in all of this.
Yeah, that's why she is also third in my handicapping. Then we move on to race 6. I totally agree with you. 6 furlongs on the dirt here, running for $36,000 in a $50,000 optional claimer. This is 2-year-olds. Again, lots of 2-year-old opportunities on the card on Saturday, Barry, here in race 6. Of course, even number race means I go first, but we landed on the same horse in this one. AP again on the outside. I'm a little surprised you landed there too, but I'm happy to see it. Tried the turf and the speakeasy last time. But boy, if you draw a line through turf performances, this horse is 2 for 4 on the dirt. Should be good to go in this spot. Broke its maiden at Los Al, then went up against winners in a 50 starter allowance, just like this one. Went ahead and won. Is in for the tag here. This son of Honor AP. I don't know, man. This one made way too much sense, especially drawing that 7 post here, Barry. I love it. AP again, I think, is the clear top favorite here.
Yeah, I would be very, very, very surprised if we get 8-1. I think the morning line maker missed the mark here, unfortunately, because AP again is probably going to be close to favored, if not favored.
Is it just the Doug O'Neill, Kyle Frey thing, 10% maybe? Is that what they're looking at maybe? Or
no, I think they just looked at that last figure in the speakeasy and kind of dismissed it and or didn't dismiss it and factored that in. But the horse is clearly better than that, doesn't even want the turf. So I would say that this horse is probably going to be at least at the best for us, for our purposes, second choice. Yeah. But it wouldn't surprise me if that horse was favored.
Barry 7, 2, and 5. He and I both have the 2 in our handicapping as well. Marco's performance. What do you like about her? Excuse me, or about him? Excuse me. What am I saying?
I like that last race. Was a little wide and made a nice run. I think the experience will carry over into this race, and this horse should probably run very, very well. If AP again stubs his toe,
right.
This horse should be right there to pick up the pieces. I'm not really enthused with Saul Elliott at all either. I know this horse was coming out of state bred stakes, but really hasn't proven to be better or worse than this. 9-5 seems a little bit short, especially when there's speed out to the outside, and this horse might be able to get pinned in, and could be a nightmare trip for Saul Elliott.
I have Opus Uno in my handicapping as well. Peter Miller trains, and this is one that looked really good right behind AP again at Los Al last out. That was an incredibly fast race. But before that, did break its maiden at the 50 level at Del Mar as well. And Barry, I don't know if you're like me, but I look at races with a $50,000 tag in Southern California, and that to me is essentially maiden special weight minus. Right. Like,
right.
Of course, it's very unlikely to get claimed at the $50,000 level. So if a trader puts a horse in for 50, I think it's more often to qualify for conditions like this than it is, hey, we're trying to dump the horse or, get new ownership or whatever it might be. I think it's much more, we're going to fit more conditions if we run in those spots, and we're very unlikely to be claimed in them. Race 7 up next here on SoCal Saturdays. This is presented by Amwager. We're the horse racing happy hour. My name's Louie Rabaut. He's Barry Spears. So glad you decided to start your horse racing weekend with us. The late pick 4 starts here, 50 cent minimum on that one in race 7. We're chasing maidens again here, Barry. $50,000 is the claiming price, excuse me, and the purse is $33,000. 3, 4, and 5-year-olds eligible for this one. Race 7 means Barry goes first. Who'd you land on? Barry, you there?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
You went
Race
away
7.
for a second.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
it
Race
was
7. Who'd you
fun,
land?
but
Sorry.
we're good. Oh, there you go. You stopped again.
Oh, I did. Oh, crap. I don't like hearing that at all.
There you go. You stopped. Now you're back.
Okay. Now you're. Boy, oh boy. Race 7. Talk about it if you're listening to me.
All right, since we lost Louie, I'll just go with race number 7. I ended up on number 3, both sides of bad. This horse is dropped in out of 3 maiden special weight efforts into a spot at Del Mar going a mile on the turf. Ran a pretty good race, albeit from far back. This horse probably needed the experience because they were coming in from Wyoming Downs, and ran a good race at 6 furlongs there. Comes into this race off of the effort at Del Mar. This horse proved that they could run at this spot and at this level on this surface, and I think that trend will continue. It's going to be difficult though because the speed, there isn't much of it, at least on paper. But
Right.
this horse was close enough, and I think they might be in touch, let's say, early, and that might be good for positioning. Hector Barrios obviously rides that turf course very, very well. I don't doubt he'll be in the right spot, but it seems like Jeff Mullins got him a nice horse transferred to his barn to take this event here.
You went 3, 8, and 4. I went 8, 3. And 6 in this one. I'll talk about the 8 horse here that you also agree on. Sweet Odyssey in for the tag here, of course. Was in a maiden 62.50 or 62.5 last time. 62.50. We're not at Los Alamitos. He was in a maiden 62,500 last out after running at the maiden 50 level at Santa Anita before. I get Frezu again. This is for Phil D'Amato as well, who I trust a lot in this kind of setup. This is not a first timer in a maiden special weight, and so I'm less worried about any of those kinds of numbers as well. In maiden claimers, he hits at 19%, so I think Sweet Odyssey makes a lot of sense amongst this company as well. And then I'll go to the 6 horse third in Empire's Classic. Kazushi Kimura riding for Mike Pipey, and this was one, Barry, I hate including horses that have run 12 times with no wins to this point. But who knows? Second off the layoff here, because of course we're taking layoffs between our maiden starts. This is a son of Classic Empire, so hopefully we'll take to the turf like others of his progeny have as well. Kazushi gets the ride here again. This horse has been third by 2 lengths, second by a length 3/4, third by a length, fourth by a length, second by half a length. I'm hoping one of those eventually, obviously, with this horse will turn over, but I would probably lean on the top 2 that you and I have.
Yeah, I have in my notes that the only 3 horses that could win this race are the 3, 8, and 4.
There you go. Okay, perfect. There you go. We move on to race 8, and it is the start of the late pick 3, one of our favorite bets in horse racing, the $3 minimum and only 15% takeout out there at Santa Anita. Obviously been adopted in many other places around the country, which I love to see. $20,000 maiden here, fillies and mares, 3, 4, and 5 years old here. Don't have to be a California bred to be in this one, Barry. Just a straight up $20,000 price. Race 8, I put a big old question mark next to it, but landed on the 8, I guess, in Dixie's Delight. Sure. Comes out of maiden 50 company where the horse battled early. But if you go back before that, was in restricted maiden specials at Del Mar and showed very well in those. So this is a horse that's run second 3 times in 5 races for trainer Blaine Wright, who's looking for that first win in this current meeting at Santa Anita. But I think Abel Lascano can absolutely do it. Like I said, this one last out was good at the 50 level. I think dropping to the 20 level makes a lot of sense here, Barry. Frankly, this one could actually stand to chill out coming out of the gate. This thing flies out of the gate. spends a ton of energy on the front, on the back starts of these races, and needs to probably chill out just a little bit. Notice they've never thrown blinkers on this horse or anything like that. But this daughter of Gig Harbor, man, give me 12-1. I also love the price, and so I'll go ahead and land on her. Hope one of those second places turns into something else. I'll go 8-3-7-3-7. Happen to be your top two. What do you like about Moonlit Courage?
Well, you know how uh,
They
the
got it.
saying, like, the bad apple spoils the bunch.
Yes, I do.
And I don't want to say Dixie's Delight is the bad apple, but it's the fast apple. That horse is insanely fast, and I
Oh,
think that brings a lot of chaos with it, which I'm hoping for, because I think Moonlit Courage might have a little bit of an edge. I know the people at My Racehorse do a good job of
yeah,
selecting horses.
actually do. Yes.
Not sure what they were thinking going to the turf with this horse
Mm,
twice. The first time was a debacle in and of itself, and the second time was even worse. So they go back to the main track. Not much in this race as far as positional speed, and I think Moonlit Courage can get that behind Dixie's Delight and hopefully run them down. But this race is really difficult, and I wouldn't be surprised if any of these horses win. Maybe not Surf Star, but other than that, everybody else really has a chance.
I'd be a little surprised at the first timer Circle of Fire, but that first timer surprises us all the time, right? So I
Yeah,
mean, it is
yeah.
what it is, especially when we get to this kind of level. But yeah, you landed 3-7-6 here. I went 8-3-7 myself. The 7 is Tupelo. Gonzalez gets the right here from Michael McCarthy. Was at the 50 level last time, and I got to be honest, man, I just needed another horse, and this horse had a good workout most recently, and so I went with that. I'm not even kidding. Like, that's what I think of this race, which is why I landed there. Neither of us has the
Well,
9 here in Ride Elbow Ranch. You have
there's
something
two
else to say about
things though with Tupelo. Two
that? Okay,
things. The horse went long and showed speed last time that this horse hadn't done,
right,
and then came out of that race and had a bullet on October
right.
4th. And that tells me that they're going to try to go to the engine
Just go
here,
for it.
or at
Right.
least get in the race early. I don't know if they're faster than Dixie's Delight, but I think they could be interesting if they could sit off of that one, kind of inherit the pace and the lead,
Right.
and kind of hang around.
Ride Elbow Ranch. I don't like that horse. You didn't include it in your handicapping. Frezu and Glatt, very good together. Anything else to like about this horse?
Uh kind of the best of the rest. I'm not really sure. I don't know how you could like this horse at 9-5.
Right.
Shown some
That
speed
part.
in the past, but very inconsistent. Not sure what we're gonna get. I would gather the favorite in this race will probably be around 5-2, whoever it might be.
All right. Race 9 is the feature. It is the lure. This is a stakes race, and let me go through the conditions here because it's a little bit different. We're running for $80,000. Let's start there. It's a listed stakes. We're going a mile on the turf. It's for 3 and up, which have not won a stake of 60 grand at a mile or more other than state bred in 2025. So in other words, you cannot have won a graded stakes and run in this company because a graded stakes in the United States requires a $100,000 purse. And so they are trying to get you in at that level. So you can't win, Barry, a 50,000 kind of stake at a smaller place, like an Assiniboia or something, and be disqualified from this field. But you cannot have won a graded stakes and get in here. So if you were wondering why the field looks the way it does with so many zeros in the win column, that is why. But Barry, who did you land on in here? And by the way, I want to say the horse you landed on, I wanted to land on. I just couldn't get there because I'm a fan of this horse. Go ahead.
What? Yeah, well, that's even more of an incentive to bet this horse. But I landed on number 4, Endlessly,
Yes.
and there, if you look through this horse's past performances after this horse went on the Derby Trail, so after this horse ran in the Kentucky Derby, this horse has really had some hard luck trips and
Oh, yeah.
and bad post positions, namely in the last 3. In the Manhattan, he was pinned down on the rail, never really got going. Deterministic went wire to wire in that race, and nobody even touched that horse. So you could put a line through that one. Then in the Wicker, this horse was way out wide and really never got into the race until the end and was coming fast. Really didn't have a shot, never really had a chance to win that race. The last time in the Delmar handicap was in position, but still wide, and lost to Golden Phoenix and Stay Hot, who in this race would probably be 8-5. So that
Oh,
being said, this
Gold
horse gets a
Phoenix
good
or
post.
Stay Hot. Stay Hot would be 8-5 in here. Gold Phoenix would
Right,
be
either
one
one, either
million
one,
right here. No kidding. Yeah.
either one.
Okay.
You know, uh,
I agree.
so those three races, the last three, and this horse actually got a really decent buyer in the Wicker. Better post position this time, training forwardly into this race. All systems go. I think this is the most likeliest winner on the card, to be
Okay.
honest.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Feeling very strongly. You went 4, 3, and 6, but those are for minor placings in your mind. I do have the 4 in my handicapping, but I went 5, 7, and 4 here. I like Goliad weirdly a lot here. 4 wins last year, no wins this year. What were those races? The Shoemaker Mile. You weren't winning that one over the King of Gosford or Mi Hermano Ramon or whatever. Tons of great horses in that one. The Daytona was down the hill. What do I care about that for this race? And then the horse goes to Kentucky Downs. But before that was in the Breeders' Cup, won the Mint Million at Kentucky Downs, won before that at Kentucky Downs, and does have 3 wins at Santa Anita. I think Richard Mandela brought this one back. That work last out at Santa Anita, the 6 furlongs on the synthetic there. Get this one going. 112 is totally fine for that. We have watched the Kentucky Downs horses, and I had Byron King on my radio show this morning, and he said, lean on Kentucky Downs horses right now because the money and the conditions of the course themselves have brought the very best of the turf horses to Kentucky Downs. I know you largely agree with that as well.
Yes.
Horses, especially, like we saw Cogburn run at Kentucky Downs last year. Like the best horses are running at Kentucky Downs these days, right? And so, but this year with that irrigation and that system, horses are coming out of there better than they ever have. And I think Goliad's going to come out of Kentucky Downs just fine. I think we're going to get better than 4-1. I think we'll get 6, 7-1 here, Barry. And I think it will be worth every single bit of it. Interested to see Kazushi get back aboard this one. They won the Thunder Road together. Now, it was a long time ago. It was in February 2024. But they won the Thunder Road together, going a mile at Santa Anita. This horse has 6 wins going the distance, has been in the trifecta 10 times at a mile on the turf. This is what he does. 19 of his 24 career runs have been at this distance. So I'll put Goliad on top. That's the longest anyone's ever talked about Goliad. That's it. That is the longest.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he hasn't been any good this year. That's my only problem with him. I like this horse too.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's finished 8th, 6th, and 8th again.
Yep.
Close to 4 3/4. I don't know what to make of him. I don't know what his form is like. He's a real question mark, and he also has the potential to get bet a little bit. So I'm not sure if he floats up to like 7 or 8-1.
Yeah, I think he will.
Yeah, you have to include him in something.
But I think people are going to take your approach to him, and I think we'll get every bit of 7, 8-1. No question in my mind. You went 4, 3, and 6.
If that's the case, I might swap him out for the 6.
But Watsonville in here, you think can run second. Why do you like Watsonville here?
Another one that's been running well and with better horses, even though you see a few back, this horse is running $100,000 claimers, but those are basically non-graded stakes if you really want to.
2024 was a throwaway year for this horse. He just didn't have it. I agree.
Yeah, and that's why he only ran twice, and he came back better in 2025, albeit in June, which is a concern in and of itself. But ran a slightly better race last time, although they really were up against it when they get pinned down on the rail like that. Getting off the rail and then that little short layoff, a couple of good works since, September 27th, October 4th, October 11th. Seems like this horse rounding in the form. Fresu, Glatt's go-to guy is on him. I think that might be the sign that this horse has a good race in him.
I went 5, 7, and 4. I'll talk about Nesso's last hurrah. Number 1, Hector Barrios rides. Let me get that out there first. Second, the horse at the distance is 2 for 4 with a second place finish as well. Also 2 for 4 with a second place finish at Santa Anita. Is a bit of a Santa Anita head itself. What I love, Barry, is August 15th at Del Mar, this horse broke from the 7, got the lead immediately, and kept the lead all the way. And I think that's absolutely a way to win this race. There are so many horses in here, Barry, that are classic older turf horses that are all going to try to make a run at the end. Who else on the West Coast would you rather have on the lead, on the turf, than Hector Barrios. I'll take the 7-horse second in my handicapping here. And then I landed on Endlessly. I think I'll say this. I think not close. He's the most talented horse in this race. I think it's not close. But can he put it back together in this one? We shall see. The closer on the card is race 10. And we move on to that one. Now this is the Horse Racing Happy Hour. SoCal Saturdays, hanging out with Amwager. He's Barry Spears. I'm Louie Rabaut. Race 10 is an optional claimer. 4 state breds. We're going 6 furlongs on the dirt. $20,000 starter allowance price for a $61,000 purse. Crystal Clean, a 5-2 favorite in here. Barry, an interesting field. Excuse me, a second favorite. Lady Gregory, the 10-horse, lands as the favorite, but I landed on the 2 on top here in Crystal Clean. Barry knows me too well, but this is one that broke her maiden in a maiden special at Del Mar, going 6 furlongs, ran 6.5 last time against winners for the first time, and darn near pulled it off. And so I'm looking for a third good run. And by the way, Hector Barrios in the irons. I'm just gonna bet Hector Barrios this week. You know what?
All day.
No, seriously, I should put $2 across the board on every horse that he's on. I should just do it and see where I'm at the end of the day. Daughter of Violence. I think that plays well here. I expect to step back into better form. Look at that October 4th work, going 59 and change at Santa Anita. Horse has been working there. Hasn't gotten to run there yet. Her first 2 runs have been at Del Mar, but I'll land on the 2 here on top in the closer, Barry. You landed on the 7, though, in the air tonight, 10-1, Tiago Pereira. I like it.
Yeah, usually in the races like this, I gravitate to horses that won in open company or came close to it. This horse was running at way better company. I mean, you see Almond Joy 3 times in this horse's past performances, which says a lot. And then those races where this horse was in this kind of company wasn't disgraced at all. I think this is a really good spot, especially on the drop. I wonder if we're really going to get 10-1. I hope we do, because I think Lady Gregory is going to take a lot of action, but I also think the 11 might take some too, and probably the 6 will take some more action. So we might get somewhere around 6-1, and I think that's okay to close out this card and bail out.
Yeah, running in that $50,000 group last time, was in a stakes company a couple of times, and frankly ran reasonably well in all those races, right? And so it's not as though definitely this horse is actually, underperforming or something like that. So I could definitely see it. So 7, 10, and 3 for Barry. We agree on the 10. I've got that horse third in my handicapping. So I went 2, 11, and 10. Lady Gregory, of course, the favorite in here. Hector Barrios off, and Antonio Fresu on. Brookie's Gal will break from the outside for Abel Lascano and Isidro Tamayo. And this is one that was really close last time at Los Al, moving down from Emerald Down. So it's interesting to see, getting back on Lasix, how much it helped the horse last out. Plus, we get to move to Lascano, who knows the course a little bit better than Monroy did back there at Los Al. I'm very interested to see this one back. Only run once at Santa Anita. It was in a $10,000 optional claimer for horses coming from those Pleasanton and kind of races, and finished third in that one. I think has gotten a lot better since March of this year. And if you watch the progression of speed figures, Barry, it's pretty incredible. We've kind of, I don't want to say topped out, but we're still in the 70s here. It's the kind of horse I think that can knock around and get a piece here. So this daughter of I'll Have Another, I think.
I wish I knew what happened last time. I think I picked this horse last time. I'm fairly certain I did. And this horse came like a freight train.
Oh, she was fine. She just didn't get there in time. Yeah.
Right. No, yeah. But I don't know. Like, I'm not sure why this horse was so far back, because it didn't appear like this horse was overmatched class-wise. And usually that's what happens. When they're in too deep, sometimes they get far back early. Because this horse's run at Santa Anita, like you alluded to before, was much better. But I don't know. I'm skeptical, but it wouldn't surprise me if this horse ran much, much better.
There you go. Race 10, Inside the Mind of Spears. Louie Rabaut, Barry Spears hanging out with you. You mentioned Almond Joy, and I want to bring her up because she's going to be in the Raven Run at Keeneland tomorrow. And so she's a filly that I've actually talked about quite a bit the last couple of days. She'll break from the 5. Ken DeZormo making the trip for Aggie Ordonez. She has won her last 5 races. Yes, she's a Calbred. Yes, it was a $5,000 breeding job. Yes, she's going to be more than 15-1. But Barry, in a 7 furlong race where she's going to be not the only late speed, but probably the best late speed. Okay, we don't have to go nuts here. There's a very clear favorite right next to her. A couple stalls over in Ragtime. I get it. Ragtime will be a deserved favorite for sure. But Almond Joy, can she hit the trifecta on Saturday? I think she can.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. She's very talented. Really the only question is if she takes that track.
No doubt about it. If the travel goes
know.
okay and all the things, that's exactly right.
Yeah. If that happens,
wonder-
I mean, she's as consistent as anybody,
Yeah.
and she runs a race. So I wouldn't think that it's going to be different tomorrow, but I thought she might get bet down a little bit.
Okay. Oh, I hope you're wrong.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, no kidding. I wonder if they did like a West Coast ship because Mafford's got 3 3-year-olds on this card. He's got 2 in the Perryville. He's got 1 in that race. He's like, Aggie, you get in here. You get Almond Joy on this.
Yeah.
Let's
let's go.
I would hope at least. There you go. All right. Well, he's Barry Spears. I'm Louie Rabaut. What do we get into this weekend? What are you looking for?
I'm going to St. Augustine tomorrow.
America's oldest city. How about that?
Yeah.
Is there anything good in St. Augustine? I actually don't know these things.
Yes, there's nice restaurants. There's an open air kind of market thing, and yeah, I'm gonna hang out. Me and my wife.
Are you an
It's
open
just us
air
two.
walking around?
No kids tomorrow.
Just
chilling.
Little Barry Palooza. Let's go. I like that.
Yeah, birthday month. It's on.
You're not a 16-year-old girl. Settle down. Birthday
This
month?
news to me. I try.
You know what just happened? You went inside the mind of Spears, and it's not good.
You
That's
did.
what just happened.
Right.
It's
You
not,
don't want that. Ugh. Like Professor X.
Oh, man. October 28th, Breeders' Cup Seminar. We'll see you there.
Yes, be there. Be square. Don't be square.